guys. Welcome. This is the Liverpool Newcastle recap, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are about to get this show on the road. Let's go. Yes, guys, welcome back to the show. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for joining me yet again, guys. Going to be looking back on the Liverpool Newcastle game. We're going to be looking at do player ratings as well, and after that, we're going to be looking at Klopp's tactics for the rest of the season. What you should play, what you should get away with not playing no more. Go talk transfers as well, guys, because there's some things we need to talk about as the transfer window is upon us. But big up to everyone. Thank you for joining me right now. Don't forget to hit that like. Don't forget that subscribe. And it's all good, guys. Anyone who's watching that's in the WhatsApp groups, I've sent out the links there. If anyone wants to come and join, you're more than welcome to come and join me and chat about the game, guys. You really are. So, look, Liverpool, a poor Liverpool performance in the first half and a fantastic ending. That's basically what that game was. Liverpool winning 2 goals. 2 goals to 1, thankfully, to Darwin Nunez and his clutch brace at the end of the game for Liverpool, giving us all 3 points against the Geordies in a game which you look back on now is an amazing win because we shouldn't have won that game. You know, we were terrible in that first half, making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. Van Dijk making a mistake, getting sent off. Trent making a mistakes. The midfield not really in cohesion yet. It's a brand new midfield. You know, with Taro Endu, McAllister, and Sabozalai all playing together. Brand new midfield. Away to Newcastle, very difficult. And Newcastle up for it in that first half. They were definitely up for it. The crowd were up for it. The atmosphere was electric, and Newcastle played well. They played really well. They deserved to be in front in the game. And, you know, we got to talk about Liverpool's tactics, and Liverpool's tactics, man, they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. The Klopp has got to stop for me playing the tactics that we've been playing for last season and the beginning of this season. They've got to just go away because, you know, we become this sort of like, I don't know why, this possession-based footballing team. And I don't know why we are like that because it don't suit us, man. It don't suit us playing possession-based football. It never has, never will. Not under the players we got. We're so used to playing a certain way of football, you know, a direct, high-energy, high-paced game. That is what Liverpool are used to playing under Jurgen Klopp. We've gone away from that. We've gone to this slow, more deliberate possession-based game and playing out from the back. And it don't suit us, guys. It don't suit anyone. Anyone in that team. It doesn't suit. Liverpool do not like playing this way. And for me, that's got to change. You know, we continuously play with this high line that causes us a lot of troubles. And what people will tell you is that Liverpool can't change the way they play because of the players they got. Yeah, which is rubbish. It's a lie and it's a lazy assumption to make because you just don't want to go against the manager. And I get it, yeah. You got love for the manager, you don't want to go up against him and anything tactically he does in a game. I got that. I'm fine with that. But you can't sit there and lie that you can't change the way we play. You know, I give credit to Klopp yesterday when we went down to 10 men, he tactically changed it. And he went back to the playing the way Liverpool used to play, more direct. No messing around, none of this playing out for the back cobblers and playing more direct and a bit more patience, not so rushed. And that's how we got back into the game. That's the way I want Liverpool to play, in that manner. There's so many issues though. Big up to everyone in chat. Hope you're all doing well. There's so many issues though in our team. There really is. Big up to everyone. Hope you're all doing good, guys. Hope you're all doing good. I look at Trent. Trent's starting to irritate me, and I love Trent Alexander-Arnold. But guys, he's starting to irritate me. If I'm getting irritated by him, then everyone else must be, because I don't know what we do with Trent Alexander-Arnold right now. I really don't know what we do with him, because I'm looking at what we're going to do in the transfer market, and apparently the rumours coming out today, I don't know if you've read these rumours this afternoon, guys, but it's coming out of The Athletic and some other publications that Liverpool are not looking for another number 6 this summer. Their search for another number 6, a defensive midfielder, is finished. Liverpool are not interested in another number 6. Liverpool want a versatile number 8. A number 8, a bit like Gini Wijnaldum, who can play the 6 role, can play the 8 role, and he's that sort of mixture of everything. That is what Liverpool are looking for right now. That's what Liverpool are looking for right now, and I don't get it. I mean, I get it in the sense that Wataru Endo is Jurgen Klopp signing, and he's spoke highly about Wataru Endo, so I get it. That's his defensive midfielder. If that's the way Klopp wants to do it, I'm fine. Okay. But we need midfielders and we need a defender in. See, I would play Trent in midfield. I would give up this right back thing with Trent now. I don't know if Klopp feels like Trent can still be a right back and do. Like, Klopp's got to come to the decision with Trent Alexander-Arnold for me that he's going to have to know he's a defensive liability. And Klopp's just going to have to play to the strengths of Trent instead of his weaknesses. And he's just going to have to know that Trent's a defensive liability, because he is. It is what it is. We can't sit here and lie. He is. But going forward and on the ball, there's no questioning his talent. So Klopp's got to make a choice what he does with him. Personally, I've said this in the summer. I've said it all summer. I've said it before the season started. I would go and buy a right back. If I was Liverpool, I'd buy a defensive-minded right back and play Trent in midfield. That's what I would do. I think for England, that's Trent's position. I think Trent plays in the midfield for England from now on. I think if he goes to any Euros or World Cups for England, he plays in midfield, because they got better defensive right backs for England. We should be doing that as well. We should get the best out of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Play him in midfield. Play him where he should play now. Play him where he should play. Get the best out of him, because his ability on the ball is excellent. We never really question his ability with the ball. We question his defensive ability playing right back. He's never going to be the defensive right back that we all want him to be, because it's just not in his makeup. It's just not in him to be defensive. It's in him to be offensive. And if you've got an offensive player like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is, without question, one of the better passers of the ball in England, a talented boy, make use of him properly. And you'll get the better out of him. But Liverpool is stuck in a bit of a mire at the moment, because they're not going to buy another right back. The rumours at the moment is that Liverpool are not going to buy a defender till January or next summer. So they're not going to buy a defender with the window shutting at the end of the week. They're not looking at a defender, they're looking at another midfielder. So they're not going to get any defensive reinforcements in. So that's not Trent's position. We got five centre backs. So I understand why we're not getting another defender in. But I thought we could have done with right back cover. I really do. And then you can help Trent get into them central midfield areas. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Trent could. He's going to have obviously good games at right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold, because he's a good player. But I feel like there's always going to be a vulnerability in our game with Trent at right back. I think it's just the way it is, guys. There's always going to be that vulnerability with Trent at right back. It's just the way it is. No, we've got Szoboszlai in here now, and Szoboszlai is covering all the areas for Trent as well, like Jordan Henderson used to do. That is what Szoboszlai's game is at the moment. He's a machine in there, and we're still getting peppered down that right-hand side. So there's still issues, for Liverpool to figure out. The midfield area, though, it's a bit concerning. So if we look at what we got on paper in the midfield right now, we have got McAllister, Szoboszlai, Wataru Endo, Stefan Bajcetic, Thiago, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, and Trent can arguably play there, yeah? So we've got 7 or 8 midfielders, right? We need another one. Because McAllister and Szoboszlai can't play every week, so you need cover. You need good cover. I like Curtis Jones. I think he's a good squad player, so I'm happy with that. Harvey Elliott, good squad player, happy with that. Thiago, excellent squad player, happy with that. All right? So you got them. Then you got Stefan Bajcetic as well, good squad player, happy with that. But we need one more. We need just one more number 8 in there, really. And that's what Liverpool need to go for. Now, I'd use Trent, but we haven't got another right back. And this is the issue Liverpool have got right now in their transfer dealings this summer. I've been saying it all along. If you move like we've been moving in transfer windows, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I believe that McAllister and Szoboszlai were going to be the only Liverpool midfielders bought this window. If Henderson and Fabinho didn't leave the club this summer, I don't think we would have bought any more midfielders apart from McAllister and Szoboszlai, because Klopp was quite happy with Fabinho. He didn't really want Fabinho or Henderson to leave the football club. We know that now. Reports have come out. But the money was too good to turn down for Fabinho, and the money was too good to turn down for Jordan Henderson himself, the wages that they were offering. So I don't blame them 2 players for leaving the football club. But we weren't intending to buy anyone to replace them. Like, we were going into this season with Fabinho as our main DM, Jordan Henderson as a squad number 8, first teamers in Szoboszlai and Thiago and McAllister, and then Henderson on the bench and people like that. That is what we were going into this season with. But with Henderson and Fabinho leaving, obviously that opened a lot of room up, and Liverpool needed players in. And the reason I don't think we was ever after a number 6, because I don't think we was ever after a number 6 that would replace Fabinho in the team. Personally, I think that's why we was after Lavia. So I think the only number 6 Liverpool were genuinely after this whole summer was Lavia, because he was the one we was really going for. And I think what they were trying to do is get a young Lavia in now, buy him now, get him in, and him and Fabinho would be the DMs for Liverpool. And then you got a young Stefan as well. And there you're 3. Fabinho, Lavia, and Stefan. And Stefan can even move into that number 8 position. And then it gives Lavia time to eventually take over Fabinho as the main defensive midfielder for Liverpool, maybe the year after next. And I think that was the plan. But as soon as they left, plans changed, man. That's why this club was a mess. That's why half the members of this football club decided to go and try and buy Caicedo. The other half of this football club try and buy Lavia. And then Jurgen Klopp sitting there trying, going, I want Wataru Endo. the club's a mess. The selling of them two players have really thrown this club into a bit of a mess in the transfer market. Yeah, and look, I wanted Henderson to leave. I wanted Milner to leave. I wanted Fabinho to leave. But, you know, we didn't do it in a proper way. You know, we never had people ready. Like when the transfer came in for Fabinho, yeah? When the transfer came in for Fabinho, this club should have been looking. This club should have gone, right, this club from Saudi are trying to buy Fabinho. They've tabled a really good offer. Right, let's make sure we get Lavia in. Let's make sure we get Lavia in now before we sell for Fabinho because we're not going to turn down this offer for Fabinho. We think it's a good offer considering where he is in his career right now. We consider this a very good offer for him. So we're going to accept their offer for Fabinho. But what before we do, we need to make sure we get Lavia through the door. So if when Fabinho goes, we've got Lavia there already, and we ain't got no heartache or messing around trying to look for a defensive midfielder. That's how the club should have run. That's how the club should have run. Yeah, they should have done that. But no, the club go, right, we'll just sell Fabinho and we'll look around the market and see what's available. You know, it's such a pathetic way of doing it. They had no plan, they had no backup to Fabinho leaving. None. When Fabinho leaves, the man's getting free Rolexes or fans, for goodness sake. He's loving life. And we're looking around for a defensive midfielder. And what do we get? 30-year-old Wataru Endo from Stuttgart in the Bundesliga that no one's ever heard of. That's Liverpool Football Club right now. That's the Liverpool Football Club. We all want to be title contenders and getting back to the big time. But we sell our best defensive midfielder that Liverpool have had in a lifetime and then and then panic buy and panic. We need to get a number 6 now. What sort of business is that? How are we running this football club like this now? You know, the running of this football club is a joke right now. It's an absolute mess. And we're going to have another one quite soon. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's actually chat about it. I'll go back to the game in a minute because I need to chat about this. Let's chat about Mo Salah. Because we're about to have the same thing happen again. We're going to have the same thing happen again. And here's my problem with this Mo Salah stuff that won't go away. Mo Salah has 2 years left on his deal, guys. He has 2 years left on his contract, right? Does anyone here believe, wholeheartedly, does anyone in the chat right now believe, put a yes or no in the chat, does anyone in the chat right now believe FSG will give Mohamed Salah an upgrade on his already 350 grand a week contract? He's got 2 years left in his deal. Does anyone actually believe wholeheartedly, yes or no in the chat, that FSG are going to upgrade on Mo Salah's 350 grand a week contract? Let me know. Lots of no's in the house. Big up, Trudon. Lots of no's. No translation. Course not. Course not. It's never. So, if we can all sit here and now say that FSG are not going to upgrade Mo Salah's contract, yeah? He's got 2 years remaining. What happens next year, guys? What happens next year? Because I don't think Liverpool can afford to sell Mo Salah this summer. If they sold Mo Salah this summer, it'd be the biggest travesty this football club has ever made, in my opinion, under the owners of FSG. You know, there's no point taking any kind of money for Mo Salah when you can't replace him. What's the point? Yeah? I don't care if the Saudis come with 300 million for Mo Salah. We've got 6 days left of the transfer window. There's no point having money when you can't spend it. What's the point? So if Mo Salah doesn't leave this summer and he goes next summer, got a year left on his deal next summer, guys. A year left on his deal. You guys sell Mo Salah for what? 70 million? 70 million you'll probably sell Mo Salah for next year. 70 to 80 million, I would have thought, with 1 year left in his deal. He's 1 year older, so he's probably going to be closer to 32 at the time, I believe. Be around that 32 years of age mark next summer. On 350 grand a week. And you're probably going to sell him for much cheaper, around the 70 to 80 million mark. What Liverpool? What do Liverpool do then? And here's another one. I'm going to ask you lot in the chat right now. Liverpool Football Club. This is what Liverpool Football Club should be doing right now. Yeah. They know for a fact. Our football club know for a fact that is it Al Fatih? Yeah, I can't pronounce their name. The club from Saudi Arabia want Mo Salah. They know it for a fact. They're talking to Mo Salah. They have spoken to the football club. They want Mo Salah. Liverpool know this. Mo Salah has 2 years left in his deal. It's all good coming out and saying Mo Salah's not for sale. That's all good, yeah? I can say that. It doesn't mean it's true, yeah? Them coming out and saying Mo Salah's not for sale doesn't mean anything. We can all say that verbally. Here's what Liverpool should be doing right now. With them coming from Mo Salah, our football club should be sitting down with Mo Salah and his agent right now, hashing over a new contract. Are they doing that? Are we seeing on Twitter, on social media, or any other Liverpool channels, or anything like that they're getting hearing from Mo Salah and his camp, and Liverpool coming out with it? Oh, of all this, like people coming in for Mo, who's only got 2 years left in his deal. Liverpool are trying to get Mo down to a new contract. Are we hearing any of this? No, and that's a worry for me. It's a worry for me. It's a real worry for me that Liverpool are not looking to sort out Mo Salah's contract with only 2 years remaining, and with everyone coming in for him. This bid from Saudi Arabia, if it comes in, it's serious. They really want Mo Salah, and it makes so much sense for them to have Mo Salah, right? And Mo Salah will accept their offer because they're going to give him money that's life-changing. But Liverpool, at the same time, have got to be prepared for this and got to go and try and sort something out. We should be hearing right now, Liverpool to keep everyone away from, like, Mo's going to sign a year extension onto his contract or something like that, give him 3 years left in his deal and a little pay rise on his contract to keep him at Liverpool. That'll keep everyone away. Straight away, the Saudi offer goes away. You don't see that again. And everything goes away, and us fans can sit there and think, right, at least we've got Mo for another 3 years now. But no, not our football club. They just go, he's not for sale. I don't believe you. I do not believe our football club when they say someone's not for sale. Because what they're saying really is the price you're offering right now ain't the price we want to sell at. That's what they're saying. If they come with a good enough price for Mo Salah, he's off. Simple as that. You reckon? Another yes or no question in the chat, guys. Does FSG turn down 150 million for Mo Salah? Let me know in the chat. Do FSG turn down 150 million pound for Mo Salah? Let me know in the chat right now. Yes or no? No, I don't think they do. I don't think they turn it down. Let me know in the chat, guys. Nope, ski. Nope, no chance, no way, no. And that's what I'm saying. So we believe that our owners won't turn down if we believe that everyone's saying no, I think Big Up Edward said yes, unless they like being lynched. Thing is, Edward, they live in Boston, mate. Do they really care? FSG, no, Klopp, yes. Yeah, I agree with that one. Dad says no. Big Up Adam, how you doing, man? This stable window, I think yes, closer to 200. No, he's gone. Big Up Adam. Luke says no. Big Up Chris in the chat. It's an interesting one, ain't it, with the Mo Salah stuff? Because I don't trust our owners, right? I'm going to say it right now. I don't trust them. I don't trust them when they say, "Oh, Liverpool are saying he's not for sale." I don't. I don't trust it. I really don't. I can't trust it. I can't. I know what they're like, man. I know what they like. I just can't trust our owners. That is my problem. That is my problem. Be out Mikey said no, but our system is bigger problem and personal right now. I could change anyone's mind in 5 minutes. Be up Mike. And we shouldn't pick up Edward. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, we shouldn't trust them, and this is my issue. This is my issue. Mike, have you got my WhatsApp? Mike, if you got my WhatsApp, message me, and I'll send you the link through WhatsApp. Um, this is my this is my issue that I I don't want Mo Salah leaving this football club. For me, I want Mo Salah at this football club till the day he retires. He's 31 now, and I don't see the benefit of letting Mo Salah go because if you let Mo Salah go, they're not going to replace Mo Salah like for like because that's very hard to do. But they're probably going to spread the money around the club. You know, we'll buy a defensive midfielder with the Mo Salah money and like all this sort of stuff. And does it make us stronger? Maybe not. It's a difficult position. Liverpool got their backs against the wall a little bit with the Mo Salah thing right now because if they're not going to upgrade his contract, because look, Mo, I don't think is a greedy man like that. If Liverpool go to him, look, we can only go up to 400 grand a week for you. Yeah, you're 31. We want you at Liverpool for the rest of your career, but we can literally only go to 400 grand a week. Yeah, but then the Saudi clubs that are coming in for him, if they're offering like Neymar money, like what Neymar's getting when he gets like 500 grand for taking an Instagram photo, if it's got the background of Saudi Arabia behind it and stuff like that, and talking about the club and social media. You know, Liverpool can't compete with that. They just can't financially. So then you leave it to Mo Salah. Like, where's his loyalty lie? 400 grand a week is a lot of money. You know, does he stay at Liverpool with the 400 grand a week and just stay at Liverpool and become an absolute club legend forever? But then I don't blame him taking the money from Saudi. So Liverpool have got their back against the wall a little bit. They certainly have, and my worry is that they're not going to give him a new deal, and they're not going to give him a new deal. Then this would probably be Mo Salah's last season at Liverpool because the worst thing Liverpool could do here, the worst thing for Liverpool right now, if Mo leaves for a free, that would be the worst thing. You know, it's happened already for us. Look at 3 or 4 players that have left for frees at the end of their transfers. I just don't believe that. My problem with the owners, yeah, our owners look for value in the market. They look what's value in the market is, and they go look at Mo Salah and go, right, he's 31 years of age. He's already on 350 grand a week. Do we see value in giving a 31-year-old 400 grand a week and 2 more years added onto his deal? So they're doing this now. This is what they're talking now behind the scenes. So it gives him 2 years extra on what the 2 years he's got left. So that's 4 years. That takes Mo to his 35 years of age on 400 grand a week. Do our owners do that? Because I think they should. I personally think the owners should do that, yeah? But I don't think they will. And that's the issue. I don't think they will. And if they're not going to do that, then you're asking Mo to stay at Liverpool and the same money he's got now, but just adding years to his contract instead of giving him a pay rise. That's what you're asking Mo to do. You're sitting down with Mo and going, look, we want you to stay at Liverpool till you retire. This is the club you should finish at. You know, we're going to go again. You know, Klopp's building a new team. We'll give them all the blah blah. You know, and then go right. We'll go add 2 more years to the 2 years you've already got. 4 years at 350k a week. You keep the bonuses you got right now. So the money's not upgraded. He just gets 2 more years of having a big contract. Let's face it, 350 grand a week is a big contract. And he probably gets bonuses on top of that. So Mo's probably almost touching 400 grand a week with bonuses anyway. And you extend the years onto his contract. And then it's up to Mo to accept that. Now, Mo shouldn't have to accept that. It's up to him, right? But if he doesn't accept that, then Liverpool have to walk away from Mo Salah because they will not offer him better deals than that. They will just won't offer him 400 grand a week basic with 2 years added. I'd be shocked if they did. So when the football club come out and say he's not for sale, I don't believe them. I need to see proof where he's not for sale. The proof that Mo Salah is not for sale is that FSG give him a brand new deal. That's the proof. Look what Alisson did. Yeah, Chelsea tried to buy Alisson from Crystal Palace. Palace gave Alisson a new deal. Liverpool been trying to buy Carl Will from Chelsea. They give him a new deal. Yeah, it stops teams coming for your players as soon as you sign a new deal. Just give Mo. So that's what I keep saying when everyone says he's not for sale. Actions speak louder than words, in my opinion, guys. Actions speak louder than words, and the words of "he's not for sale" just don't do it for me. Show me he's not for sale, but give Mo Salah a brand new contract. Give him a bump up in his wage. 2 years added onto his deal right now, and that no one will come in for him. That will keep everyone away. Yeah, show me that because I'm worried about this Mo Salah stuff. I'm worried about this Mo Salah stuff. I ain't gonna lie. I'm worried about this Mo Salah stuff. Hang on. It is a bit of a worry. Now, big up, Mike. I've got your email, man. Okay. What I do, Mike, I'm going to email the link back to you, okay? Right, Mike, I've emailed the link back to you because my phone just died. My phone just died, so I couldn't take your number down and send it. So I've emailed the link to you. And yeah, and like Yo Cool says, it's tax free in Saudi as well. It you know, if Mo wants to leave as well, look, would I be? I don't. I'm not upset with Mo Salah if he wants to leave the football club. You know, Mo Salah's gave us a great times at Liverpool Football Club. He's been a great servant to our football club for 7 years. But I won't blame him. The money talks, guys. Money talks. If he's getting if they're offering him like Neymar money, of course he's going to go. Let's get Mike in here. Big up, my man. How you doing?
How we doing? How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad.
Doing good. Listen, I 100% agree with you on everything Mo related. One of my big stipulations, though, is that last year a lot of people were complaining about his performances, and over the last 2 years, and I think that when his form drops, it's because of the system, and it's the same as it's the same as every player on the team, and when I saw us playing the 4-4-1 essentially yesterday for the last 15 minutes, to be honest, we looked better with 10 men than we did with 11. I don't think that we even score 11v11. I think that we would have lost that game if Virgil didn't get a red card because we wouldn't have changed the way that we were playing. And I don't think that Mo is the centerpiece to that exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like if we continue the 4-4-3 and we try to play this false nine and we continue to play the way that we have been, then Mo is essential. But if we switch things up and we start playing a lone striker, do a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-5-1, right? Looking to get Darwin in behind, I don't believe that Mo becomes as essential to the system, if that makes sense. So if he were to go, we change the system, but I think that the system needs to be changed anyway, because I would prefer him to be more central than to be on the wing. So, and it's funny because even Jurgen said it. I don't know if anyone watched the post-game interview, but he goes, once Virgil went off, we became more compact. And what I heard there was, why were we not compact with him on? You said it yourself with your own words. So why did it take Virgil getting a straight red for you to understand that maybe we should drop the high line and play a little bit more compact. And then we played better. So it's just the Mo's a little complicated, but I think if you change the system, he doesn't become as essential. I mean, I love Mo and I love the goals and assists, but he's going next year no matter what. Like, I don't think that there's anything FSG can do. So, we need to change the system now, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Oh no, the system's been dog turd for about 18 months now. It just is. So our defense isn't as bad as it looks right now. It just ain't. It's because it's getting violated every single week because of the system. You put like Virgil shouldn't be making that challenge yesterday because he shouldn't have been that high up in the first place.
Exactly.
Virgil should have been face on with Isaac if he was dropped back a little bit further.
You got it.
Because he's got such a high line, and Klopp still relies on Virgil's pace, which he ain't quite got now that he used to have. He can't get back into them positions, but really he should be face on. Now, if you put John Terry, one of the best defenders in Premier League history, and you play John Terry in this system, John Terry's looking terrible.
Yeah.
Because it don't suit him. And the play, I don't get why. Look, the last two games when we've gone down to 10 men, we look better because, as you say, the system has to change. We go back to the way Liverpool used to play in a weird way, a bit more compact and a bit more direct. And that is the best way Liverpool play. I used to love it. I used to love it when we used to score goals only after 4 passes. Just that was our good, efficient. And now we've become this slow, boring, play out from the back possession side team that I don't think suits a single player we have in our side.
I would make the argument when we were going for the quad, I noticed these exact same problems. And every time we played bad teams, why did we lose 1-0 to Leicester away? Why did we draw to Bournemouth? Why did we have these awful results? Because we were playing slow progression football against teams that would just sit back against us, knowing that we don't have the creativity to unlock them because we're not that kind of team. And it's I don't know who's in charge. I don't know who's making these decisions, but this is 2 weeks in a row where we've played with 10 men and we've pulled down the high line. And if you go back and you watch those goals yesterday, the second goal, Jota forces a turnover off Joe Linton. It's one pass, Darwin's released. The first goal, Trent zips it to Salah. Salah takes one touch. Trent zips it to Jota. Jota takes one touch, and Darwin's released. So both of our goals yesterday were zip, zip, boom. And, to be honest, when they had 10 men, we didn't all of their chances came 11v11. I'm sorry. There were 2 chances. There was Almiron's shot where Alisson made the greatest save I've ever seen. And then Almiron also hit the post after slicing through our defense. But those things happen, right? You're gonna give up chances with 10 men. But for the most part, we played better defensively that way. And I don't understand how Klopp could say it with his own words and not realize the irony in that. He said it himself. We were more compact. Okay, so why are we not doing that 11v11? Why are we trying to be this team that we aren't? And Endo, I think that people are giving him shit for no reason. Pardon my French, but
I don't think he was terrible.
No, neither do I. I think he did a job. I think that he went out there and he did his job and he didn't mess up. If Virgil was Konate in that situation, I think that with the extra little bit of pace, he gets in front of Isak and it isn't a foul. And the game runs a different way, and I don't even think we end up winning it. So now that we don't have Virgil, now that we don't have Konate, and we got to rely on Gomez and Matip, who both could go down injured, and then we're down to Kwanzaa and one of those guys and no center backs, it really is about the system. I think that going forward, we cannot continue to play this way. It's like we're trying to play with, when Thiago came in, we tried to play this possession football, and that was the season after we won the Premier League, and then Virgil goes down. It's like we've just been continuously trying to do that rather than going back. If you want to revert, go to 17-18, go to 18-19, just compact, defensive. The reason why we were so good was because we were so good defensively. And I feel like everyone forgets that. Everyone talks today about how good our attacking options are. When we won the Champions League and when we won the Premier League and when we won everything in the world, we had an unbelievable defense and we were barely conceding goals. And that says a lot more than having 6 strikers to choose from. And it's like we've just been neglecting the foundation that we built this team on. Not to go off on a separate little tangent here, but I think that we kind of just lost our identity a little bit. You know what I mean? Switching to a possession rather than remaining a defensively strong team.
Yeah, I mean, you are right. And the reason we were defensively stronger in them years is because we kept the ball further up the pitch. All
Exactly.
our possession, we played possession football in the opposition's final third. Now we play possession football in our own final third. And this is the difference with Liverpool right now. And we're not great in transition. So if you look at all the goals we concede, yeah, from last season into this season, it's always in transition. It's always mistakes when we're trying to play possession-based football, playing that from the back. Sometimes you can get caught in the counter-attack. That happens to everybody. That ain't a big deal. But the way we are letting in goals is pathetic, really. Go back to the way we used to play. I don't get why we changed it. Now, if this is a Pep Linders thing, like everyone says, yeah, this is a Pep Linders idea, right? So if this was a Pep Linders idea and he was our manager right now, no matter what you thought about the owners, every Liverpool fan would want that manager out of our football club because he's playing a bad way. Jurgen Klopp is the manager. He doesn't have to listen to Pep Linders. You know,
Exactly.
He can also tell. He can also go, Pep. Look, Pep, I like your idea. I understand the way you want to play. It's just not working right now. We'll go back to the old way. Also, Klopp had, his former assistant he used to call the brains. I've been saying this for a while. I don't think Klopp is the greatest tactical manager.
No,
I don't
he's
think
not.
that's his side of the game. He's more of a man manager. Look, if I played for Klopp, I'd probably run for a brick wall for him because he's that kind of geezer.
Yep.
But as a tactician, he's not Pep Guardiola, that kind of person. And that's nothing wrong with that. Sir Alex Ferguson himself wasn't a great tactician. He was a man manager. Still most successful managers of all time.
Yeah.
Don't have to be a tacticianal genius or anything like that. But
he had talent ID, though.
Yeah, and he had talent ID. But Klopp surely sees, as you said, 2 games running, we played better with 10 men because we went more compact and more direct. You do that with 11 players, you probably see a better side of the game. And I think people like Szoboszlai, when we went down to 10 men, he got better in the game because we played more into his strengths as well.
So the argument that I would make is if you look at the possession stats yesterday, it was 60-40, right? And I think one of the big reasons why we're doing so well with 10 men is because we're not the ones who are dominating possession. If you go back last year and you look at all of our losses, we had more possession, right? So there's a common trait right there already. If we have more possession, why are we losing? Well, it's because we're opening ourselves up and we're incapable of holding this possession. But then when we play good teams and we concede possession, like City had more possession than us in the 1-0 win, which is very similar to how we just played at the back half. We were compact and we just dished on the counter. All of a sudden, we're getting results and we're not conceding. I mean, to be honest, that game yesterday really could have been 2-0. Like, it was just a very unfortunate back pass. Salah didn't have any other outlets. There was no one else near him, and Trent just misplayed the ball. Outside of that, it's a 2-0 win. So, yeah, I think just a lot of it has to do with how we're setting up and how we're approaching the game, and that's another reason why last year I was saying I don't know if we get the players that we need. I don't know if we're even going to succeed. You know what I mean? Like, even if Fab and Hendo were still here and that was Klopp's plan, I don't think, or even if we got Lavia and let's say we got Caicedo, like let's just go into straight up dreamland, right? Like we dropped 250. I still don't think that this system succeeds. And I still don't think that we challenge for anything. And I still don't think that we find answers because the fuel is flawed, right? Like we're putting vegetable oil in a Ferrari and we're expecting it to run rather than putting premium gasoline. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. And like, if we did get, say, Lavia and Caicedo and they played, we'd still have, and we kept this system, we'd still have lots of gaps in behind us. And that's still going to be the issue where a lot of people will still take advantage of that. And the thing that annoys me is I know Jurgen can change this. He can change it because I give him credit. He changed it tactically with 10 men and he did really well. So I know Jurgen can do this. It's what irritates me. It's like, just do it from the off. We've got the thing that irritates me. We've got players here. We've got quality players in our squad. that if you just go to a system that suits them more, they will benefit more from that system. Look what Ange is doing at Tottenham.
Yeah.
You know, they played dead football for the last 4 years under managers that play defensively minded with their structure. And Ange is now playing this attacking, free-flowing football. Now, they're attractive to watch at the moment. Will it last for Tottenham? Probably not, because it's Tottenham. But, you know, he's changed something up and willing to give it a go. I never thought there was a problem with the way we played anyway under Jurgen. I always liked the way we played. I like when he first came in, he tried to play that heavy metal, we outscore you kind of football. And we played better under Jurgen when Jurgen first got here with worse footballers
Yeah.
than we do now with far better footballers. So that's the system. I don't want to even play that heavy metal football that we did at the beginning, because he didn't need to do that, because he worked out a style that suited us once he got the players in. And you can tell Jurgen wants to play that style still. He still wants our midfielders to be industrial. You know, you look at Szoboszlai. Is Szoboszlai doing what he did at Leipzig? No, he's more of an industrial Jordan Henderson, but with quality. That's what he is right now. McAllister, he's more industrial, but with quality. That is what Klopp wants from these players. We're linked with, apparently the rumours are coming out today is that Liverpool don't want another number 6 this summer. They're looking for a hybrid 6 and 8, a bit like a Gini Wijnaldum. That's what they're looking for. And so I've got no problem with Klopp wants to play that way. I've got no problem with it. It works. But he wants to play that way, but he's playing a system, a tactic that don't suit the system. So you're playing possession-based football and you're playing really slowly out of the back, but you really actually want your midfielder to still be industrial, and everything happens in the final third with your attackers. So the two things are not matching up right now, and that's the problem.
I think that what I'm seeing when we're 11v11, I'm seeing a team that's trying to play possession football and counterattacking football at the same time, right? Like when you look at when we have possession in the other half of the field, there's like 40 yards of space between whoever has the ball and whoever's in front of them. Like they're literally, it's like Gakpo is all the way downfield, Jota is all the way downfield, Diaz is all the way downfield. There's no space. Like when Salah has the ball on the right, the only place he really has to go is right back to Trent, and then Trent kicks it right back to Endo, and then we just end up playing U-ball for 5 to 10 minutes. So it's counterintuitive. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we're trying to do too much at one time rather than sticking to one way of playing. Like if you want to play possession, fine. Just get more compact and go more tiki-taka style. Like not to try to copy Barcelona, but you can't have guys bombing it downfield. You can't be throwing hoof balls. You can't be playing direct if you're trying to play possession. You have to be tight. So it's just conflicting philosophies, which is also making all the players look bad. It makes everyone look way worse than they are. It overexposes Trent in defense because he gets caught out, and we all know that he's not the best at positioning, and then we all blame Trent. It overexposes Salah when he doesn't score. Everyone's getting angry. Why isn't Salah producing? It overexposes Jota. It overexposes Gakpo. It's like we all turn to look at the players rather than asking ourselves, like, well, does it even make sense what they're trying to do? And if it doesn't, then can I really blame them? Which is why, personally, I haven't been putting a ton of stick on the players over the last year and a half. It's really just been down to Klopp in my mind. And I'm not Klopp out, but something has got to change. We can't. It's like someone's trying to invent something new, and it's not working, and they continuously try it. If that makes sense.
No, I agree. As you say, if he wants to play a possession-based game, then you've got to play with a bit more compact from midfield and defence. We play a possession-based game, but we try to have our fullbacks as wide as possible. Where 2 centre-backs split. The defensive midfielder comes in between. And what happens then? You leave a lot of area, a lot of green area around. And if you go play possession-based football like that, it's very difficult, because once you lose the ball, you're in trouble in transition. And that's what happens to Liverpool constantly. So they're trying to do something, but not quite got it right yet. So, look, play possession-based football. If that's what you want to do, play it, but get more compact. Don't be so high up the pitch, and don't worry about the counter press. Just go into counter-attacking. because I've been saying for a while, Liverpool have all the players to play counter-attacking football. What you got to do sometimes is just if, if you have 40% of possession, that's fine as long as you're playing counter-attacking football and making it count at the other end.
Exactly.
Liverpool away from home sometimes have to do that. Sit back, a little bit deeper, a little bit more compact, and use the quality players in your midfield and forward area to play that counter-attacking football. Because if you're staying compact and nice and tight at the back, and then you've got a McAllister and Szoboszlai midfielder, then once they get it, they can play in the half turn, they can keep the ball, they can take the pressure off your team, and then they can find Salah out wide, they can find Gakpo to feet or whatever they want to do. Then you can go from there. But at the moment, Liverpool play too wide and open to play that way. And so I think Klopp's got one way he wants to play, and I think Pep's got a way he wants to play. And they're sort of playing, and they're playing their tactics and putting it together. And I don't think that's working at the moment. I think one of them just needs to go, look, let's put all this to bed. Let's go more compact, play more counter-attacking style. At home against lesser sides, we can do this maybe, but most of the time, let's go more direct. Let's go back. It weren't broken. I don't know why we try to fix it.
I mean, if you look back, like sometimes our hardest games are against poor teams too. Like, we'll struggle against a Southampton. We'll struggle against a Leeds. We'll struggle against these teams that cannot hold the ball because we kind of lull ourselves into complacency with this U-ball, just kicking it around back and forth, being super wide, not having options. That's why I think, like, if there's any takeaway from the last two games, it's go with a lone striker. Like, just stop the 4-3-3. It's clear that we're better when we play in behind and we play counter. Klopp played a 4-2-3-1 at Dortmund. Like, he knows the system. And plus, let's say in a magic world, Gomez was at right back. I'd be okay with Endo and Trent kind of doing a double pivot. It would look different. Like I don't have the answers, but I want to see the club taking action to try to solve the problem, if that makes sense. I think a lot of people have criticisms, and it's, you're fair to have criticisms. We obviously don't have the answers because we don't get paid $10 million a year to find those answers, but Jurgen does, which is why Jurgen should be trying things like this, like switching to a 4-2-3-1 or, like literally a 4-5-1. I think that would genuinely work better than the 4-3-3, trying to play this counterattacking ball. Just leave Darwin at the top. Just like let him play like Haaland. You know what I mean? Because that's essentially what Haaland does. Haaland just stays at the top of the pitch the whole time in between the two center backs. And if you watch City play, he just looks for runs. That's all he does.
Yeah, he's a limited baller.
Exactly.
Haaland is a limited footballer, but what he's good at, he's the best in the world at. So Man City plays for that strength.
Darwin can be that. I'm telling you, with the right confidence, Darwin can 100% continue to finish like this. And if he finishes like the way he did against Newcastle, just stick him at the top and let him find those spaces. Hold the possession a little bit deeper, be more compact, and just let Darwin do his thing. Like, he doesn't speak English, just let him run around and cut through the seams, and we got great ballers who will find the passes. I mean, we had two great passes yesterday to just split him open, and once he's behind the last defender, he's gone. Like, no one in this league is catching him.
And he's direct as well, and that's what we got to do. You look at Darwin's 2 goals; it's direct play. No fancy build up or anything like that. He
doesn't even take a touch. He doesn't. No. He took 1 touch for 2 goals. He took 1 touch.
Exactly, because the ball was run into him perfectly, and we win the ball back in the final third, which Klopp wants. That's what he wants. He wants us winning back the balls in the final third, and once we've won it back, there's no pretty football. It's just direct. It's direct into him because Darwin's going to stretch the pitch. The problem with playing the false 9 in this 4-3-3 in the way we want to play. The false 9 will come deep. And if they come deep, it means you're coming towards the ball. And if you can bring in someone towards the ball, it means everyone's going to come towards the ball. It limits your space in behind your position. And it's easier for the opposition to defend against you.
Yeah.
And then they can push up and start pressuring your midfield. And that's where Liverpool lose in transition. But if you've got a person who can stretch your position. Now, it worked when we had the original front three because Bobby would come deep. But then Mane and Salah would stretch the other way. Now, Salah doesn't want to do that no more because he hasn't got the pace he used to. Salah likes coming to ball to feet now. So Salah's coming ball to feet, Gakpo's coming ball to feet, and Luis Diaz is the only one who's willing to make that run. Then you're making the pitch much smaller for yourself. As soon as
Yeah.
Darwin comes on, you've got someone who's going to actually get forward and stretch the game. Luis Diaz is going to get forward and stretch the game, and Salah can come to feet. That's fine. And then you can build from there. And I think that's why Darwin needs to start games for Liverpool, because he does stretch the opposition. And if you play more direct into him, and don't worry, I don't want Darwin to be a link-up striker. I just don't.
No.
I want Darwin to be a finisher. I just want.
I want him to be
Darwin.
Erling Haaland. I want him to be Haaland. I want him to have 12 touches a game. I want 12 touches a game. I want 4 of those being shots, and I want 2 of those getting on goal. Like that's all I want from him. And I love that you said the thing about the false line, because in my mind, what's going on right now is when Gakpo comes down, like Salah and Diaz are going too wide. Like they're not like when Salah was playing his best last year in December, he was playing more centrally. Like he was closer to the center of the pitch. I think Luis Diaz also likes to be closer to the center of the pitch. Where was his best run yesterday? Right up the right side of the box, right? Like right on the edge, got right through. I think that as a team, we work better through the middle. And I don't think that continuously going wide and again just dropping ourselves into a stalemate with the halfback and then just having to toss it back and do the same thing on the other side is working anymore. And a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2 would allow us to play more centrally, more compact, and more through the middle. And we would ultimately be better served in the long run doing that. Plus, it takes off a lot of the essentialness of Salah, and I think that would be good for his game. You know, I think it'd be good for his head to like not have the weight of this team on his shoulders every game, not bear the weight of the criticism, not get all the stick, because we would be more of a free-flowing side that isn't overly dependent on one component, which would, just serve us better in the long run. Again.
No, I agree. I mean, I don't think, and Black Prince says it here, Nunez is proving that our team can be successful if Klopp stopped deploying players out of their natural positions. I just wish Klopp utilises our players more in their preferred positions. That is very true. I mean, if you look at Gakpo starts no matter what by the look of it. You know, it's like Klopp makes a position for Gakpo. Like he's played in the midfield twice this season. Then he played false 9 yesterday. And I like Gakpo. I think he'd be a super player, but I don't think we're benefiting Gakpo by playing him all these positions just so he can have him on the pitch. You know, I don't know if we need a false 9 there anymore because we've got McAllister and Szoboszlai. And McAllister and Szoboszlai, what they're doing when they get hold of the ball, because they're tacticians and their quality, they want to get into that run into that space that if you're playing a false 9, they're going to take up.
Yeah.
So Gakpo's going to come into that deeper position, pick up the ball there and try and turn and run. Where really, I'd rather have Szoboszlai there, turning and running and finding the striker who's trying to make a run into the box.
Exactly.
Where if Gakpo comes there and Salah is not making, Salah's coming deeper as well. He's not making that run into the box no more. So you have this overload in midfield. And once you've got this overload in midfield and you've got this small area of the pitch that we're trying to play in, and no one's making that run in beyond, it's easier for the opposition to just sit there, low block, and soak that pressure up and eventually counter-attack on us. Look how many counter-attacks we have because we push up so far in that final third because we're playing a false 9. So you got your false 9 there, you got your 2 midfielders, your DM, and then you got your Virgil and Konate, whoever it is, are pushing up, but they're wide as well. They're not close together. You got Trent trying to get involved, Robbo off the other side, and it leaves a lot of room for counter attacks. And in transition, that's where they're in trouble. But if you've got a Darwin Nunez, it's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit on the edge of the box and stretch the game.
Yes.
Then them Newcastle defenders, or whoever defender it is, then can't step up because they go, I've got Darwin's not going nowhere. I've got to be wary of Darwin. He's not joining in. You know, Darwin's not joining in. And if he's not joining in and he's just hovering around, then you've got players like Szoboszlai that could get into that space and stretch the game for Liverpool. And that means you keep the ball in the final third more where Klopp wants it. And I think that's where he's going to look. I think Klopp's going for serious decision to make for the Villa game, because I don't think you can drop Darwin after that performance.
No, absolutely. If he drops Darwin, that is the most idiotic decision, especially after the way that we've just played with 10 men in 2 straight games. If he drops Darwin, it really shows that he's not paying attention and that they're not listening, and that he's, like, in my mind, he's been hell-bent on trying to go back to this, 18-19 false nine, when in reality, McAllister and Szoboszlai are nothing like Hendo and Wijnaldum. Like, I don't, like, first of all, they're 100% better on the ball. They're better offensively. Szoboszlai has a bigger engine than anyone I've ever seen in midfield, and it provides the perfect opportunity to create something new, right? Like, we just saw how we played in a 4-4-1. Let's figure out how to do this with 11 men on the pitch. Let's stop the false nine. Let's play more centrally, and let's attack up the middle, compact. It's like, if there's one thing that we can take away from Newcastle, it's that with the right eyes and the right perspective, it's providing the perfect starting point to create a new system that I genuinely think could do real harm in this league. Like, regardless of all of the injuries, regardless, because if you change the system, we become less vulnerable. And if we become less vulnerable, we don't have to rely on superhuman performances from Virgil and Konate, because there's more cover. And these guys are all professionals. Like, they're not that bad. They're just in a system that is overexposing them. Like, if we play more centrally and we use this as an opportunity to kind of leapfrog off of, I think that we can cause a lot of trouble for a lot of teams, because Darwin is just unbelievable. And I've been saying that since day one.
He's earned his place. I've looked at Jota since this season. I thought Jota came on and actually performed really well yesterday as well. I think Jota's one of them players who looks better off the bench. I really do.
Same.
Jota's got that sort of, like, Jota's either here or he's here. There's no in between with Jota. He's either outstanding or he's average. There's no in between with Jota at the moment. But with Darwin, he's obviously a confidence-based footballer. And if you're a confidence-based footballer and you go and score 2 goals that win you the game, Darwin must be buzzing right now. And if Darwin Nunez probably can't wait for the next game.
Yeah.
Because he's got 2 goals, 2 quality goals. The finish for that first goal has got
world
so
class.
under the radar.
World class.
Because he could only put it in that spot.
Did you see how it bounced? Like, literally, it bounced 3 feet in front of Nick Pope's arm. Like, it was perfect.
It was a beautiful finish, that first one, and then the second one was just great as well. Just like really proper, world-class attack.
Pope is a great keeper too. Like, Pope is not a bad one-on-one keeper.
Exactly.
He's a huge guy. He's got a massive frame, and Darwin beat him twice with just 2 shots, 2 touches. He took 1 touch on the first shot, and he took no touches on the second shot. And honestly, the second shot was a tighter angle than the first shot. He was further down the pitch, and he was further to the right. So
that's where he wants to play. He wants to play in that middle right channel, I believe. He looks better in that middle right channel than he does in that middle left channel, because he sort of scuffs the shots on that angle. He likes to come in off that middle right channel.
Yeah.
And that's why he should play as the lone striker. And like against Villa play a high line.
Yeah.
Villa play quite a dangerous high line, actually. That's why Newcastle bashed them. They play quite a dangerous high line. I'm playing Darwin all day in that game.
Yep.
I'm playing Darwin against a high line all day.
Well, Villa, they play a high line and they're confident, right? So Villa are confident, which means that they're not going to have a problem coming at us. So if they're not going to have a problem coming at us, let's drop our high line. Let's concede a little bit of possession, and let's let them make the mistakes, just like Newcastle did.
Yeah.
Let's let Newcastle. I mean, both those goals started off of turnovers. So let's let Villa make the mistake. Let them try to control the game and hit them on the counter with Darwin sitting up there. I think that we could batter teams the whole season if we just played like that. If we just sat deep, because if you look like last season, even with our lack in quality in defense, or sometimes because of injury, whatever form, all the goals were in transition play. Like 9 out of 10 goals that we were conceding were in transition or we're in a counterattack. So how do you combat that? Get rid of the counterattack. Let them break us down. City couldn't do it. City are one of the best teams at breaking down anyone in the league. They couldn't do it last year at the game at Anfield. They did it in the second game, but those obviously a million different reasons why that occurred. If we can just eliminate the counterattack and allow the other teams to gain confidence, bring possession. Alisson is good for 1 or 2 world-class saves a game. I don't care what anyone says. He'll bail you out, and we have the luxury of being able to do that. We can rely on giving away possession because we know that Almiron scores that against any other keeper in the league. Any other keeper in the league's hand flops back. They do not put that onto the post. So
that was a strong risk.
If we're willing to accept that, like if Klopp is already willing to do this crazy, dangerous high line, just flip it around, go backwards. All right, fine. I'm willing to play dangerous that way. I'm gonna play dangerous, letting them hold the ball because I know that we can counter. And I know that we have the pace, and I know that this isn't working. So if I let them come at me, all of a sudden they're just going to open up more, and I think that we can really light good teams up. And those are the only games I'm worried about this year. I'm not worried about the lower quality sides. I think that our quality up front is too good now. It's a lot different than last year. We have with McAllister and Szoboszlai, we'll be able to create a lot more in possession if we do decide to play those games against poorer sides. But against the good teams, against the top 6, concede possession. Like in my ideal world, we don't hold more possession in a single game against a top 6 side the whole year. We just sit back and we let them come at us, and we bring the game to us, and we lull them, and we hit them on the counter with the lone striker. And I think that, if we played like that, I could see us challenging Arsenal, challenging City.
We probably have the best counter-attacking players to play that way in the league as well. No doubt. Big up Black Prince, he said, it's very clear that Nunez and Salah have chemistry. They certainly do. Klopp will play Salah, so it will be foolish not to start Darwin. Plus, we don't want to risk demoralising Nunez after such a performance. Thing is, this is where big up red and white. This is where Klopp's man management skills have to come into it now, because Cody Gakpo has not played well for the first 3 games this season. Yeah,
not entirely his fault, but yes,
not his fault because he played in midfield for 2 of them, and it's just balmy. Yeah. Luis Diaz, I've always said this. I think Jota and Gakpo have great chemistry. When Jota plays on that left and Gakpo plays in the middle, they seem to have great chemistry. Salah and Darwin seem to have great chemistry. Diaz don't really have chemistry with anyone. He's like the lone wolf. He's like that lone wolf, and I like Luis Diaz for this. He's the one who'll just go and do his own thing. He's the loner in the pack. But I like that about Luis Diaz. I really do.
Yeah.
And that's why he needs to be that left winger. But Salah, what I've noticed when he plays with Darwin, that Salah turns into that number 10.
Yes.
Because Salah's got it in him. He's not the best passer of a ball for average passes, but for some reason, Salah has got a killer assist in him every game.
He's got one world-class ball.
And if Darwin makes that movement, because I've always said this about Darwin, when we signed him last year, he's got fantastic movement.
Yeah.
But we never look for him because we're trying to play this tick-attacker, possession-based game now, where
garbage.
You look at Darwin's 2 goals. It came from direct play. No messing around. Boom, won the tackle, go. That's what we did, and that's what Darwin wants to feed off. That assist from Salah for Darwin's second was amazing. He had to get those with his left foot as well. It was a beautiful, and the pace and power on it was perfect.
Outside foot, left, perfect pace. Gets right past Botman. Botman tried to catch Darwin offside.
And you're not going to catch Darwin. You're not. When he's on the shoulder of a defender, you're not going to catch him. He's lying.
Botman stepped up to. He was like half a second too late. If you go back and you watch it, you'll see Botman gets caught stepping up as Darwin goes by him, and then once Darwin's by you, I genuinely think there's not a single defender in the league, if Darwin gets a step on, is winning.
Oh, he's paced some real.
No,
he's paced over 10 yards. You ain't catching Darwin Nunez. There's no doubt about that.
No.
And he needs against Villa. I think Darwin against Villa is perfect because, if you look at when we played Villa at home last season towards the end of the year, we struggled. I think Cody Gakpo was playing number 9, and because they play that high line, when Cody came deep, the high line Villa just pressed up and they pressed our midfield.
Yeah.
So Villa pressed our midfield. We came under all kinds of pressure. Brighton did the same thing. Brighton always do the same thing. They play that high line. We played the false 9. Our false nine comes deep. They push up and they press our midfield, and our midfield was just like crabs in water, hot water. We were just, like. But now it's different. You got McAllister and Szoboszlai there, right? And especially Szoboszlai is a unit. He ain't getting bullied around for no one, right? So we can afford to go. Darwin, you just sit on their high line. Just don't worry about coming deep. Don't worry about linking. You just sit around their high line. Sit around their centre backs. Mo, you come off the fullback. Don't let the fullback mark anyone. You come off the fullback, pick up their number 10 positions. Luis Diaz, you go one-on-one with their fullback. Don't let him fullback come up off the pitch. McAllister and Szoboszlai got that midfield area sorted. Liverpool will benefit from that because then Darwin will stretch the game. Mo will come deep. The fullback won't be able to follow Mo because if a fullback follows Mo, Darwin's going to have acres. Then if they do follow Mo, Darwin's got acres. Then the other fullback will come across to his centre half to go compact. And then Luis Diaz has got acres in behind as well. But if you play a false nine, he's going to come towards the ball. Mo's going to come towards the ball. And it's easier for Villa to defend. This is why Darwin's got to play the next game for me.
I think that the way that you just explained that is exactly why the false nine isn't working for us anymore, because we're bringing the game further away from the goal, right? We're not bringing the game to the opponent. Like you said before, how when we're in possession, we hold the possession too far back. I think a big reason why is because we're dropping back with the false nine. It's almost like we're scared to move, to progress up the pitch. And it's because of the way that the system is designed. And I mean, I just to kind of like throw it out there, I think that if you played a 4-2-3-1, right, Trent at right back, put Endo and McAllister in the double pivot, put Szoboszlai in the middle or Gakpo, either one. And but honestly, with the way he's in, Szoboszlai in the middle, Salah on the right, Diaz on the left, Nunez up top. I think that team smashes Villa on the counter. If you play compact, you play centrally, and you concede possession. And I mean, even with the double pivot, you can let McAllister track further upfield, let Endo stay back, drop this whole back two nonsense, stop having Robbo bomb upfield. Like we don't need Trent and Robbo to be bombing upfield as much anymore when we have the creativity in midfield now. Like that's another thing that isn't making sense to me. Like we don't need these crazy runs from our fullbacks if we're going to play possession football. That's another thing that doesn't make any sense. When Robbo and Trent were at their best, we were playing counterattack. And every time they made the bombing runs, they were just dropping in crosses. They weren't holding possession. It was boom, 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 throw the ball in, get back. So if you want to do that, fine. But otherwise, like I think a 4-2-3-1 really suits with what this team has. McAllister will be open to get further up pitch and just let Endo sit there and actually play a back four. Don't drop it to a back two like we always do, because it's always just Virgil and Kanate there. And you can't do that now because, who are we going to start against Villa? Matip and Gomez? Is Kwanzaa going to start? And if Matip and Gomez are back there, well, then Robbo is not allowed to go further up the pitch. Robbo has to be more defensive-minded, and Trent has to be more defensive-minded because,
this is the thing with Trent, though. Because I've been saying this for a while. I just want Liverpool to play a flat back four. You look at Man City, their fullbacks don't always get involved in the build-up play, right? They leave them back, all the time. They don't always get involved in the build-up play. We are always asking Trent and Robbo to get involved in this build-up play, like you say. And do we need them to do that no more? Because Salah's becoming a playmaker. He's becoming creative. You got Szoboszlai and McAllister there. You got Luis Diaz there, who's more of a creative winger that can do anything on a dime. Do you really need Robbo and Trent to be that creative outlets anymore? Or do you just want them to be basic fullbacks? The problem is Trent's not a basic fullback, and this is the issue Liverpool got with Trent. I still feel Jurgen Klopp is trying to build a team that involves Trent in the most attacking areas of the pitch.
Agreed.
And if that's the case, he can't play right back because we're always going to be overexposed. Because if you want Trent to be an attacking right back in the way we're playing right now, we're always going to be exposed in that area of the pitch. And that's always going to be an issue. This is why I said in the summer I wanted a right back, a defensive-minded right back, so you can put Trent into midfield and use him there. I mean, Trent alongside Endo in that double pivot there, and then in that box midfield, allowing McAllister and Szoboszlai to do their thing. And then you got the front three, that's fine because then you got back four and a double pivot. So then you've got that defensive cover. But the way we play, you play Endo on his own, and then the back two play one-on-one defending. They don't play as a unit because Trent and Robbo are pushed up. It's a bit of a mess right now, and the Trent situation's the one because Robbo is a basic left back. Fine, can do that. Trent is a basic right back. You can't play Trent as a basic right back because you're then playing him to his weaknesses and not his strengths. Well, that is the issue Liverpool got. They should have just put Trent in midfield at the beginning of the summer and got a right back.
I mean, I was right after the quad season. I went on Reddit and I literally put up a post on Liverpool FC subreddit, and I said why Trent should be in midfield, and I got minus 400 downvotes on it. Like everyone just started to have a bash at me, and now we're starting to see why. But the problem is that now we have Szoboszlai and McAllister, and so if Trent goes into the midfield now, all of a sudden we have a major personnel issue because with the way Szoboszlai is playing, I'm not dropping him for Trent. And if we're going to put Trent in midfield, like let's say, we have the whole Trendo double pivot. We got Endo and Trent. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we still need to play Szoboszlai. We still need to play McAllister. Salah has to play, and you got Diaz, Jota, Nunez, and Gakpo. So we don't like we're running out of space here. So the problem that we're now facing is that Trent can't do the job at right back, but we're at a point of no return. I'm not putting Trent in the midfield over Szoboszlai or McAllister. And so, if it's Trendo, then Szoboszlai, McAllister, Salah, Nunez. So then Diaz and Gakpo and Jota are off of the pitch. So like I see what you're saying. Like I think that we were building the team around the wrong, like we weren't using Trent properly. Trent should have been moved 2 seasons ago. Like we all could see this. And to be honest with you, I think Joe Gomez does a good enough job at right back defensively. Like last year, I would have been fine seeing Joe get dropped to right back and Trent being moved up and playing the double pivot with Fabinho. And I think that our summer would have looked a lot different, even though I'm happy with McAllister and Szoboszlai. But now we can't move them because we're not dropping any of those forward players for Trent. So, and also at the same time, we're losing. I love that Szoboszlai is this massive engine, but we're losing so much of his offensive capabilities by having him come back and cover for Trent time and time again and playing that Hendo role. Hendo and Szoboszlai could not be more different. Szoboszlai can cut through a defense and score a goal. He has unbelievable offensive capabilities. And we're losing that by having him play this cover role for Trent. So, if Trent can't sit back and not bomb himself up the field, then the argument needs to be, or the conversation needs to be had of what are we going to do with him? Because we can't put him in midfield, and we need to be changing our system to be more midfield driven than wing back driven, which means that Trent is not the center focus. And so what are we going to do for him? I can't answer that question. I don't know what to do from that point.
This is the issue. I think Scraps has said it there, be up Scraps. That where does Trent actually fit in though? This is mad because Trent could get a bit lost here because I don't see Trent as a right back anymore. I just don't. I just don't. There's going to be people that say yes, Trent won everything there is to win as a young right back. Blah 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 blah. That's fine. That's fine. But everyone moves on in life. Everyone, evolution happens and people move on. Like, would a Jurgen Klopp kept Gareth Bale at left back this whole time? You know what I mean? When he evolved into a left winger, Kimmich evolved as a right back who won everything, by the way, but then evolved and turned into a defensive midfielder. It doesn't mean Trent's a bad player. It just means he's outgrown the position and now needs to play in his more natural position. There's nothing wrong with saying this. But the problem is we've gone and bought McAllister from Szoboszlai and we've got Wataru Endo. I don't think Trent's a defensive-minded midfielder. I think he's sort of he's that midfield controller, a bit like Pino. He's that player that can get the ball and keep the tempo of the game going. Because what I liked about Trent when he did play inverted last season is that when he got the ball, he kept the ball moving constantly. Yeah. Even if it was just a little 5-yard pass, little 3-yard pass, whatever it was, and then he could have that killer 20-yard pass into Gakpo's feet. But he kept the ball moving. If you keep the ball moving, you keep the opposition on their toes constantly. What Liverpool sometimes do is they stop the game, and the ball don't get moved quick enough. Trent moves the ball all the time, like 5 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards. Just keep doing that side to side, forward and back. Keeps them on their toes. You don't know what's going to happen. And that's what I like about Trent in that position. He doesn't have to be the defensive master or anything like that. His interceptions into midfield, in midfield, were far higher than these interceptions are at right back. He's far better in that midfield area. I just feel like it's a difficult one for Trent right now because I do believe Jurgen Klopp is trying to build a team that helps Trent Alexander-Arnold, because he still looks at him as like, I haven't got anyone that's offensive-minded quality-wise than Trent is on the ball. But I think Klopp's very aware of his defensive abilities. Of course, he is. I mean, he has to be. But he's built a side that supports Trent. But as you say, if we go back to a flat back four and a double pivot, it don't suit Trent being an orthodox right back, because it don't suit him, because he's not one. Then if you put him into midfield, that means you're going to lose either McAllister or Szoboszlai, or you're going to lose Diaz from left wing, because you have to play a different way. And do I think we could lose that right now? No. So we're in a position with Trent right now. I never thought we'd talk about this. That what do we do with Trent going forward? Do we play a back three and play Trent as a right wing back in a position I've always thought would suit him more than right back?
Yeah.
Because that, you got a back three there. You could play Joe Gomez, Van Dijk, and Canate as your back three. Robbo is your left wing back. Trent is your right wing back. Then you can have, I don't know, McAllister and Szoboszlai as your double midfield or whatever, and have the three up front, or you take one of the forwards away. You play your three in the middle, and you play one up top. But we don't play. We play a variation of 4-3-3 constantly, no matter what variation it is. Trent inverting, it's still a 4-3-3 kind of formation. And in the new way we're playing right now with the players we're buying, I don't know where Trent fits at this moment.
Which is why none of it makes sense, right? It's like we all talk about how the transfer window hasn't made any sense. The tactics don't make any sense. It's like a circus. It's nothing is lining up. But the argument that I'll make for Trent is that last season when he was in the inverted role, what I will give him credit for is I think that Trent is a better defender in midfield. He's better in transitional defending. He's better in intercepting when he's not relying on his positioning, because that's what, essentially that's what a wing back is. Your positioning is what matters. The back line is all positioning. When you take Trent out of that role and you just let him run around like a headless horseman, he's actually a pretty decent defender. Like, he's not poor in a six in my mind. He could be a deep lying playmaker. He could be that deep lying DM that sort of controls the game, almost like a Rodri. But at the same time, not just using that as a positional comparison, not a player comparison. But at the same time, we've kind of buckled our foot to the chain here. We don't really have the freedom to do that anymore because of who we've brought in. And now, the argument needs to be had. Like, what are we going to do with him? Because if that's our one hole and we take that away and we start winning games, I mean, what are you going to sell Trent? I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know how to approach the conversation, because it's such a circus idea to think about Trent not being in the squad, almost like, Salah not being in the squad. Like, if you switch to a 4-2-3-1, I don't think that Salah becomes as essential as he is in the 4-3-3. And so now it brings the whole conversation of, okay, if we do sell him next year, do we really need him if we switch the system? Can we bring someone else in? Can we bring someone else in that can play more centrally? If our midfield is now creating more, again, City is a great example. You take out Kevin De Bruyne, they're still winning the league. If you take out Salah from this 4-3-3, we don't beat any team. So it's like, what is the real problem here? Is it Salah, or is it the system? Is it Trent, or is it the system? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you look at Trent as well yesterday, that he played the whole game. He never got subbed. And if you told me after watching Trent's performance yesterday that he wouldn't have got subbed off, I think that tells you everything you need to know, that he is one of Klopp's main weapons. And he believes in him so much that he kept him on the pitch. Look, I think other managers might have taken Trent off, after that first half hour just to save him, but Klopp kept with him, and I just don't know where we're going to put Trent. I really don't. Big up, Albert. How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm sorry about the first time. I couldn't hear you because it seems like the sound didn't quite work out.
No worries, man. No worries. Just having a bit of conversation about Trent at the moment and what Liverpool actually do with him going forward, because last season we played him inverted, and he had good like defensive stats in that midfield area, especially for interceptions and stuff like that. He's gone back to that right back role, and it don't look like it suits him. But now we've got McAllister and Szoboszlai in midfield. Are you dropping any of them for Trent? Probably not. So what do you think we do with Trent? What do you reckon we do with him, Albert?
Well, there's a come to Jesus moment that we are in, and the honest conversation has to be had. Trent simply has to go back to being a fullback, at least for Liverpool, because you can't buy Szoboszlai and buy Alexis McAllister and ask Trent to join the midfield and create. What are you doing? What are you trying to do? It doesn't even begin to make sense. And clearly, from what we have seen during at least the last two matches, and even in the first the Chelsea match, he makes mistakes that end up costing the team. Yesterday, if you sequenced the red card that Virgil got from the moment Trent started getting the yellows, giving the ball away, making the two central defenders extremely jittery and what have you, you see the source of where all that came from. I think that he needs to be a fullback who can bomb forward in the mode of, say, Manfred Kals or who am I
Reece
thinking about?
James.
Even a Reece James, or any fullback who can bomb forward, but his primary function must be simply to defend. This conversation of him joining the midfield when you have two of the most creative midfielders on the planet, it doesn't make sense, because what you do is, when at the best and worst of times, you force Szoboszlai to come back and defend for him. Unless, of course, we are going to make Szoboszlai the defensive midfielder in our team and play him and Trent as a double pivot. I don't know how that will work. But if that be the case, then we need to go out and get an outright fullback, because we are always caught short. And the problems that we're having last season, they've just become more manifest, because teams have gotten stronger, and all the coaches and all the managers are they're not even hiding it. It's like target Trent. They're not even hiding it. He's bound to give you a mistake. Target him and make sure you are around when he does that. And I don't know how Klopp is going to address it, but let me just say that yesterday our boys did a yeoman's job. I'm very proud of them. They showed that there are levels in this business. They went out there and played for their captain, their fallen general, and I was so utterly proud of them. And I think the time has come for Klopp to stop all the fucking experiments and just start Darwin.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just fucking start the dude and give him the time. Put the ball where he thrives the most. Darwin is not an intricate Benzema style center forward. He's not an intricate Harry Kane style forward. If I was to give an analogy of who Darwin is a Lineker style forward. Put the ball where he needs to be. Give him the time he needs to manufacture the problems for the goalkeeper, and he will deliver. He is also fantastic with his head. When you need to put the ball, stand the ball up in the zone for him to put the ball, hit it with his head, do that. He's also very, very good at keeping central defenders honest and making them shit themselves. You know, the jitters that he brought to the Newcastle defense is what gave us the goal. Notice the first goal. What did Sven Botman do? He was all over the place when the ball was coming to him because Nunez was coming, Darwin was coming, and he just didn't know what to do. So it's skipped off his knee, off his bum. He didn't know what to do. So Klopp and Pep Linders need to give up those useless lab experiments and just let the guy. You've bought an £85 million central striker. Let him play. At least for a season, let him play. This Gakpo, what do you call it? False 9 and Trent. Fuck all that. Let the dude play, man. Yesterday, he's written himself into the folklore of our team. Let him get out there and just let him play. There's just. Right. I mean, if he doesn't start Nunez against Aston Villa, I'll be astounded. But Klopp has astounded me before, so I won't be that surprised. But I'll be surprised. I'll really be shocked.
But he has, if he starts Nunez, it can't be the 4-3-3. Nunez was playing as a sole striker yesterday in a 4-4-1. It needs to be a variation of a lone striker. We can't. I don't think that we can have Salah and Diaz playing wide on the wings and Nunez, running up the middle. Everything needs to be centrally created so that you can create those gaps for Nunez to run through. Almost, I mean, I know that everyone talks about City, but it needs to be similar to what City do with Haaland and Alvarez, right? It's like it's central in the midfield, and it's piercing passes up the middle through the gaps. I think that if Nunez starts, it has to be a variation of a lone striker. We can't, because we already know what it looks like in the 4-3-3 with Darwin, and it doesn't work. But if a 4-4-1 did, well then we need to go back to whether it's 4-5-1, 4-2-3-1. It needs to be some variation of that. And I agree. I think that he will kill defenses, and it will open up spaces for other players. Even if he misses his chances, if Darwin is continuously getting in behind, it'll create more space for Szoboszlai and McAllister and Salah and Diaz to exploit, because all of a sudden you're going to have that back line looking over their shoulder rather than looking directly in front of them.
Yeah,
but you remember what he did to the Man City defense at Anfield. Remember what he did to them?
Yeah,
he terrified the hell out of them, and then what he did to this same Newcastle defenders in the same stadium last year, he made them look really, really stupid. Let the guy play. I think he's worked on himself during the off season. You can see he's gotten leaner, he's even faster, and let's just let him do his thing. There are days when he won't do so well. You bring somebody else in. This business of starting Jota as a central striker is just foolish. Let the guy, let Nunez just come on and start. I mean, if you're gonna let him start and then replace him, that's fine. With an impact player, of course, when need be, fine. But let the guy just play. I mean, that's just my thing. Let him play. Because yesterday, frankly, let's just be honest, he rescued us with individuality.
Yeah.
It was his individual efforts that rescued us. Finish. He could have hit those shots into the Tyne River for all I care. But it was his individual efforts, that it's an individual, prowess, let me put it that way, that rescued us. Yes, the team came together after the initial mistakes and the sending off and all the hubbub with that idiotic headmaster. But I think that, yeah, he is a headmaster. You know that, right? John Brooks is a fucking headmaster. I would hate to be his pupil. So they came together as a body, and they were like, you guys have touched the raw nerve. Now you're going to have to finish us off. And they did a good job. I mean, the goalkeeper was spectacular. And I say this without any equivocation. I have never seen a better save since Gordon Banks saved that ball from Pele. The velocity with which the ball came, that should have been a goal. Every other goalkeeper, it goes in. That was a strong arm to even prevent it from just basically carrying the goalkeeper into the net himself. And I mean, they did a fantastic job.
I think Eddie Howe said it's the best save he's ever seen live, didn't he? So.
Yeah. The only other save I can compare would be Courtois' save against Salah in the final, where he got his fingertip on that ball somehow and kept the game 1-0.
See, that was a good save, but I say it was I won't call it a routine save. I will say it was an excellent save by a very good goalkeeper who also happens to be exactly.
And Alisson used his strength.
Yes, because the technique with which he kept the ball from going into the net, the velocity, it was so hard hit that it even bounces off your hand and it goes in, even if you try it. I mean, and for him to push it up in a way that it kind of like hits the bar, and then he even manages to swipe it away before Trent gets there and probably does an own goal, But I we have to give them the credit they deserve, man. They did a fantastic job. And for the first time in a long time, I saw our manager do in-game substitutions that actually worked.
Yeah.
Elliot was unbelievable when he came on. And we just have to give them the credit. I don't want to, apart from Trent's mistakes, which he himself has apologized for, I just don't want to, like I always say, my mom will say, now's not the time. I'm not even interested in, let's do Aston Villa to shreds on Sunday. And we have now 10 out of 12. Last season, by this time, we had 2 points out of the first 3 matches, and if we transpose what happened last season to this season, and we had 7 points after the first 3 matches, all things being equal, we qualify for top 4. So I'm happy today. I still can't stop watching the match. These are the reasons why we're Liverpool. I mean, how many teams have days like that? How many teams? I mean, I have Barcelona to call on. I have of course, probably the best match Liverpool have ever played, the 7-0 against Manchester United, and that for me is the blue ribbon of all Liverpool matches. Those of us who are a little older will remember Alan Kennedy's 1-0 goal in the 83rd minute against Juventus. There are a few other matches. There's been the bad days and there's been the good days. Yesterday was a fucking good day. I had such a lift because we were playing against a referee who, I mean, these guys, I tell you what, they would do very, very, very well refereeing African football matches because they are terrible. They are terrible. This John Brooks guy, at what point, I'm sure you guys have all seen this. You've had to watch that skit where Darwin, Virgil gets the red card. You've had to watch it over and over and over and over again to see that he actually did touch the guy. Because what we all saw is that the ball changes direction. So on what basis do you show him a straight red? Unless you're a witch doctor or unless you're a druid, right? And you saw him actually, but he didn't see the obvious push on Trent, for which reason Trent get upset and he gets a yellow card. I mean, he didn't see the 14 infractions that Joe Linton made and never got a card. I don't get these people anymore. I don't get it. They should go and referee TP Mazembe matches. They'll do very well there.
I think that the main reason, I don't think that you can't deny if Isak makes that turn, he's 1-on-1. So if it's a straight red because of the goal scoring opportunity, and if it's the goal scoring opportunity rules being too obscure and being too down to the opinion of the official, then that's a different argument to have. But I think with the way that the rule is written at the current moment, I don't think that I, as a Liverpool fan, can argue with that, because regardless, all he saw was a foul and goal scoring opportunity. Whether it's a no card foul, it reminds me of the 09 Chelsea game against Barcelona, where they got robbed with the 4 handballs. But if you go back and rewatch that game in the first half, there's a foul very similar to it that led to a straight red. It was a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, and if there was someone behind him, it probably wasn't even a card. But because there's no one behind him, it has to be a straight red. So the officiating was very poor, but in that one particular scenario, they either need to rewrite the rules, or we're just going to have to kind of continue to go on whatever the referee is viewing as a goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
You see, my problem with what you're saying is that we've all had to go back, like I said earlier, we've all had to go back to parse that video again and again and again to actually see what happened. Okay? This is the same referee. This is the same referee, John Brooks, who didn't see the need to send Tyrone Mings off when we played Aston Villa at the end of last season.
Yeah.
Because I was at Anfield. The staff, the medical staff, showed him Gakpo's shirt, and he had the Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon thing in it. The guy had 3 studs on his belly, which was shown to the referee. The tackle was stomach high. What did you need again to send off Tyrone Mings? He said it wasn't a goal. This is the same referee who thought that Konsa extending his leg in that match and giving the ball to Gakpo still didn't matter. Gakpo was offside. You see, lawyers have a saying called prior bad acts, that you are actually seen to be what you are because of what you've done before. I'm saying that the guy had an agenda, and I have no qualms about it. I have seen John Brooks in action against Aston Villa. I saw him with my 40-20 vision. That's what you. I'm sure you remember that match. He was the referee for that day. How could you not have sent Tyrone Mings off, and you send this guy off? Like I said, he must be a witch doctor or a druid. That's the only thing I can say about him. But all kudos to him. We still won anyway. So these days, we are going to take our own feet and our own shooting boots onto the pitch, because we are not going to get any benefit of the doubt from them. Having said all that, I also think that per the rules, and Michael, per the rules, Trent too should have been sent off, right?
Oh yeah, Trent should have gone.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that the first yellow card for time wasting, that was the softest yellow card I've ever seen.
He actually rolled the ball back on the pitch.
Yeah, it was just a free kick. It was absolutely absurd. So that was ridiculous. And I mean, they were having talks about it. It's like, if you look back at the foul, he barely touches Anthony Gordon, and I think that's the reason why he kind of let it go. You know what I mean? He barely touches him.
If you go back to what Trent did, so Trent gets fouled by Anthony Gordon. He gets barged like that in the back and pushed off the pitch. Yeah, so Trent's rolling the ball back onto the pitch because he's about to take what he thinks is a free kick.
Yeah,
there's no time wasting back here, because he's throwing the ball back on the pitch because he wants to take a free kick because he's just legitimately been fouled. But the ref says, no, you've not been fouled. You haven't been fouled, and I'm going to book you now for dissent for throwing the ball back on the pitch, and then gave the throw to Newcastle.
Yeah, it was really
so
dumb.
It was like, if he actually gave the free kick to Trent in the first place, he wouldn't have booked Trent for throwing the ball back on the pitch, because he's throwing the ball back on the pitch to take the free kick that you thought he just earned. So the ref, if he dealt with that properly at the beginning, everything would have been probably much better going forward. But yeah, the ref is apparently going to be the ref of the Liverpool Villa game as well, so that should be interesting. Look, apparently there's some rumours right now. So you know that defender we're after from Rennes?
Fiate?
Yeah, Arthur Fiate, yeah. So apparently Liverpool are after Fiate from Rennes, but Rennes want Joel Matip and
No.
there could be something where it's quite an easy transfer to do. So that's going online at the moment.
We just
So,
we don't have the depth though. Joe Gomez and Joel Matip have missed 100 games in 3 years, and Konate only started 17 games last season. So we really only have one center back right now who's been able to stay fit, and then you have Kwanzaa, who's a youth player, and so I don't think that we're in a position. I mean, if we had more depth, I would love that because I think Matip's just not at Premier League level anymore on a consistent basis. But I don't think that we could do a swap because we'll still be screwed on depth. So it doesn't. But I mean, he is a better player though, in my opinion.
yeah,
But
definitely.
don't you think that we like you're saying, we still need a Matip in there, because I think yesterday he was excellent. At least
Yeah.
that's what I saw.
Yeah, he
Matip,
was good.
it was nothing wrong with it.
So
Let's
was
praise one
Gomez.
person. Yeah, I was about to say, let's praise Joe Gomez because
Joe Gomez was great. It was unbelievable. He was
Joe
fantastic
Gomez.
yesterday.
Yeah, he gets a lot of as Liverpool fans, we're all a bit up and down on Joe Gomez a lot of the time, and rightfully so because some performances he's put in recently have been so subpar.
Yeah.
But I thought what he did yesterday, coming on when we had 10 men, I thought for the first time in a long time, Joe Gomez for me showed maturity and he showed leadership at the back. It's like he came on, it's like Gomez came on and went, you know what, I'm going to come on now. I'm going to be the leader of this back four. I'm going to lead this defence. And that's what I liked about Joe Gomez's performance yesterday. He showed maturity. He showed leadership. And the other thing I liked about Joe Gomez yesterday, he was winning balls in the air. I never see that ever. Like, he was heading balls away from our own box. I'm like, where's this Joe Gomez been? You know? And if that Joe Gomez can play to that level more consistently, then he's a worthwhile defender keeping around. So I can see why Klopp is not looking at defenders this summer. Because Klopp will look at it and go, right, I've got Virgil, I've got Konate, I've got Gomez, I've got Matip, I've got Nat Phillips, and I've got Kwanzaa, who came on and played all right yesterday as well. So if you put Jurgen Klopp there, he's going to go, right, I've got all them. I'm not going to really go into a defender unless I lose one of them, then I need them replaced.
But it's all down to that compact style, though. Like Joe Gomez looked so well because we were so compact, right?
Yeah,
he wasn't getting sliced open, and I think again it goes back to the point of if we play the right system, I think that we have the personnel to go up against any team in the league. It's just the system has to be correct. We have to approach the game properly, and we can beat anybody.
And I also think he sees Endo as an auxiliary centre back when he needs him. So
yeah, more likely.
But the issue for Klopp and his centre backs are the injury prone, injury issues. Because you have the guy who has had the ACL being the fittest of the lot. That's a big problem.
I think that a lot of that has to do with how we play, though. I think that the high intensity, high line, always having to be running 100 miles an hour. If we sat back more, we played more compact, we played more centrally, I think that our guys wouldn't be running their legs to shreds, and we would not have an injury-inducing system, because I think that that's a major problem. We have an injury-inducing system at this club because it always seems to be the same type of injuries. It's thigh muscle injuries with everyone in the back line. They're being overran. So if you play more compact and they're not running themselves to death every game, I think the injuries don't become as big of a problem.
But did you guys notice that yesterday we dropped the high line like a few yards?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's why we play better with 10 men. Yeah. So Joe Gomez, when Joe Gomez played in that game against City at Anfield last season when we won 1-0, we didn't play the high line. We played more compact and played counter-attacking. And Joe Gomez was fantastic in that game.
And then Joe, I'm telling you right now, that game is the reason why João Cancelo got sold, because Pep does not allow you to make a mistake twice. And he made that mistake. And from that point, you could tell that his entire perception of João had changed. And, goes off to Bayern. Yeah, he's probably going to. But, that's, again, another difference between Klopp and Pep. Like, Klopp is allowing these mistakes to continue to happen without even addressing the system. You know,
That is true. I mean, it's just but Joe Gomez, I've got to give him credit. Look, if Joe Gomez and Matip play against Villa, I'm all right with it. If they show that leadership and maturity they both showed
yeah,
against Newcastle, and we don't play that high line and we play a bit more compact, I've got no problem with Gomez and Matip as my centre back options. If you play that high line,
we're gonna
they're going
thrash
to be
them.
exposed, and they're fragile. Exactly.
Yeah,
You play 5 yards, even drop it 5 yards back. That's all you got to do. 10 yards back, and they'll be more compact. And let defenders just defend. Don't let them be something they're not. That's the way we should be doing it.
Yeah.
Gomez will have a fine game against Villa. Yeah, I thought he was excellent. I thought Harvey Elliott when he came off the bench was really good as well. Harvey, Nunez could have easily had a hat trick yesterday if he took that touch better.
Yeah.
That ball from Harvey Elliott. I think Harvey was sitting in that number 6 position.
Yep.
Whipped a lovely ball over to
a little bit too high. It was just like it was a fraction too high. He had to bring up his foot too high.
Down enough.
Yeah.
And Darwin just couldn't touch it in front of him, touch it to the back of him. So I thought Harvey's done really well every time he's come on lately. I am impressed with Harvey. He controls the game and he slows the tempo down. Which we need sometimes.
What's the commonality there? He came on with 10 men each time, and each time we were more compact. So we keep coming back to this idea of 10 men, compact, everyone looks better. Like even the players who sucked last year are looking 1,000 times better, which again goes to show I think personnel is it's the easy solution to point and say we don't have a proper 6, we don't have a proper this, he's playing poor, rather than saying are we just not playing to their strengths, or is it the system that's the problem? Because Harvey, the last 2 games is night and day compared to every game that he started last season. Same thing. Same thing with like Joe yesterday, night and day with last year. Matip yesterday, night and day with last year. Definitely. So it's just a system thing.
Look, guys, we're going to leave it there.
Yeah.
I think we broke down that game well enough. And look, Liverpool have had a good start this season. 2 hard away games. Game against Bournemouth, 7 points out of 3 games. Villa next at home, win that, 10 points out of our first 4 games. We can't complain. Look at the start of last season compared to this season. It's 9 days. So, hopefully, look, we've got 6 days left to a transfer window. We need a midfielder in. I think hopefully they do that. Guys, we're going to leave it there. Big up to everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to send all you guys over to Enz's channel. So Enz is live at the moment. I've sent a redirect. So as soon as this video finishes, guys, you will all pop up live on Enz's channel. Go and bombard his chat. Say Jamie sent you. And go and bombard his chat and give him some likes and subscribe if you've not been there before. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you very much, Mike, for joining me. I appreciate it. Guys, see you soon. Bye-bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your night.